Hello, and welcome to the Susie Unshaped sessions. I am Susie Taff, and I am going to chat about ways that we can remove all of the emotional shapewear that is limiting us from living in our hearts. So, if you're new here, what our goal is to stop trying to figure it out with this and start trying to feel our way through things with our hearts. So, let's all just take a big deep breath. So let's a big deep breath into your belly and let it all out. Like step one, always deep breath. So 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 deep breaths, or as many as you've got time for, is always, I feel like, the first step just to grounding yourself back into yourself, into your heart, into your body, and getting out of the panic. Like at the moment I've got a lot going on, and you can feel it coming up here, like the and it's just breathe. And don't be afraid to have a little rest either. Like, I was going to come down here and do this. And then I was like, do you know what? I'm actually really tired. So I'm just going to have a sit, as my sister would say. I'm having a good sit. Well, I didn't have a good sit. I just had a little sit. But sometimes just even 5 or 10 minutes can really make a difference to the next phase of your day. So I don't know if you like tea. If you're a tea drinker, make your favorite cup of tea and just sit, and no scrolling, no phone, no jobs, no, like, actually just empty this. Maybe if you can either sit in nature, or sometimes I like to do what I call watching a tree. And I have these amazing palm trees out of my window. And sometimes I'll just sit there and just watch them swaying. And I suppose if I think about it, that's probably a form of mindfulness. But I know that people bang on about meditation and bang on about like mindfulness. But what actually is mindfulness? I think just being settled and in your body and present with the moment. And that might be watching a tree. It might be sitting near like a pool or a water, and like watching as if dragonflies flying over the top, or looking for butterflies, or just or watching the way the sun comes dapple through the tree leaves. So what if it's actually that easy? What if we're overcomplicating all of this? Anyway, just something for you to think about. And what if you could be connected and feel amazing in your heart and your body with something as simple as that? Hmm. Anyway, I think it's supposed to be that easy. Like this human life that we're in is actually supposed to be easy. Doesn't feel like that, and especially not when we're coming from here, because here you've got layers of expectations, the shoulds, the like programming that we've had since birth. So this part is like, we actually have to cut this bit out. Like, this is great because it keeps us safe. Like, we want to be safe. Like, it tells us not to touch the fire. It tells us, like, that's hot. It tells us drive on the right side of the road. So we need this, but I think we need to understand that it is actually not our guidance system. It's like a system put in place so that we can exist on Earth. Because I said all of those things, like, they'll hurt you. But it's really, this should be our guidance system. So a little, why don't I propose to you a little game? And I did mention this ages ago, actually. It was basically, clear some time. I don't know. It doesn't matter how long you've got, maybe half an hour, maybe longer. Maybe you've got a whole morning or something, or an afternoon, and just allow your heart to guide you. So you can be driving, or you could go walking. And so we go outside our house or in our car, whatever. Am I turning left or right? Well, my street's one way, so I better turn left or I'll be in trouble. And then at the end of the street, Am I going right or am I going left? And actually really sit in with it and have a bit of a play with listening to your heart guidance system. Not this, like, do not have a destination in mind. I think that learning to remove the destination and allow our hearts to guide us there, I think it's a new thing. Like, it's but I think it's coming online more. You may even like think back to times where you have actually done something like that and you didn't know why, and then in hindsight, you can see where it led you. I don't know if you've had that before. I've certainly had that. I love hindsight. Hindsight's brilliant. But if we did have hindsight earlier, then we wouldn't go on the right pathways that we're supposed to and collect all of our lessons, learnings, what we like to call them. Are they learnings or are they lessons? Something like that. But we are collecting them because as a soul here on earth in this human body, we have actually chosen to have these experiences. So, and we do that because we want our souls to evolve. So, I am firmly of the belief that we have chosen this exact life that we're in. And do you know what? I think by believing that, it actually removes a whole lot of ego responsibility that we put on ourselves. Like, I chose this. I like the hard circumstances that I've had in my life. I chose them. I actually chose that I wanted to have them because my soul wanted that part of the evolution, or maybe it didn't need that part of the evolution, but it needed my human to go through that so that by the time I'm now at 45, I've actually had all those learnings. So my human is now at a point where I've asked enough questions, like the big question, what are we here for? What is this all about? Like, who am I? And interestingly, there was, I think she's a Mesopotamian goddess called Inanna. And I think then she moved on. They changed her name to Ishkar, I think. Or anyway, you know me, I'm recalling of facts. I always get them messed up, but I'll put it in the description below. But anyway, she was the goddess like of earthly realms. And then her sister, and I'm going to get that one wrong too. No, I'm not even going to say it. Anyway, she was the goddess of the underworld. And so Inanna wanted to go down to visit her sister in the underworld. And her sister in the underworld made her take off all of her earthly possessions, all of her titles, all of her clothes, like physically her clothes. And I remember that. And so I just propose to you, who are you without all of the titles and the clothes? Like, who are you if you're not a daughter or a sister or a mother or an engineer or an accountant or like all of these things? If we peel all these layers off, what's left? And I remember when I first did this activity, it was amazing. It was run with this wonderful mentor that I've had that's taught me so much about so many things. And we did like a chanting around a fire and we did the Anana ritual. And then she actually like asked us, we put our head on the earth and actually asked the question, who am I? And I have a lot of answers for a lot of things, and I just came up blank, completely blank. And then after we do these little processes, we sit around in circle and speak about our experience. And so by the time it got to me, I was like, I don't know. I actually do not know who I am if I am not a mother, if I'm not a sister, if I'm not an engineer, if I'm not a daughter. Who am I? And so what I did was I actually took it back to basics. Okay. I love the sunshine, like dappling through the trees. I love winter sunshine where you can sit out there and it's not too hot. I love the ocean. I love like running through national parks and hearing the birds singing and with all the cool dark canopy. And I love music. I love water. And so I started rebuilding from that. So really like a new identity being born. And I'm missing my beautiful phoenix wings I normally have here. But this was all part of my process, like the rebuilding of my life. And in order to rebuild your life, I think you need to strip away all of the things that aren't actually you, and they are all the human things. They are like titles, achievements, like we all like so strong on all of our achievements, like, but I've done this and this and this. It's like, and that's amazing and it's fantastic, but it's not who you are, like at a soul level. So there we go. The Anana process. So if you would like to do that, maybe just take a few deep breaths, sitting somewhere that you love. It might be your favorite couch. It might be outside. It might be, who knows, in the car. I quite like the car, especially in summer because it's cold, air conditioned, and I can actually make that part of my world cold because it's so hot. But and just sit there with it and start to peel back all the layers and all the identities that we think are us, and let's come back to our heart. So I hope you have the most wonderful, beautiful day. You are a miracle, remember, 1 in 400 trillion chances that you were born. So love you lots. Bye.